Hey everyone, this is Phreak yet again with an audio commentary for WCR and in this instance we're actually going to have two replays in this audio, and we're going to be going over Game 1 and Game 2 of Grubby versus APM70 in the sort of King of the Hill, whatever the full title is, game thing. And it'll be going over, I think, pretty much the strongest elf strat, and it's something that I went over in the Orc vs. Night Elf strategy article. Not really so much on the Night Elf side, though the unit choice, not so much the hero choice. And then talking about the Orc standpoint, again, talking about the unit choice, and going over the timing a little bit, not perfect, but going over some of the stuff. As you're going to be seeing sort of what I'm going to be aiming for, and sort of the tactics, the timing, and solidifying really what you need to do in this sort of matchup, hopefully offering a little bit of insight to the Night Elf side, but again, more focused on Orc, as we're going to go from Grubby's point of view in both these games. And then later on I'll do the games 3, 4, and 5 and show how you can sort of skew it from the Night Elf side to make it your win. And you might be able to notice some unit choice changes, some hero changes that shift the winner to the other side. So we're going to unpause this mofo from 15 seconds in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. So you got the Fog of War on, UCDNA's point of view, and if you read it backwards, it says, and you, oh yes, you, BA. So, I don't know. If he wants us to actually read it backwards, this is, and you, oh yes, you, ba. Who knows? So, these are the kind of things I do when I'm bored and I read the name backwards, because the capital A on the end, I'm like, A-N-D-U-O-Y-E-S-U-B-A. Interesting. So, who knows? In any event, N-U-O-S-U-Ba is doing the standard altar and burrow build. We can see already that he's not putting on the barracks, and he's doing the very somewhat standard tech build. People do racks first against Night Elf, people do the tech against Night Elf. I prefer the tech. However, when you're on a map with mercs, I've had a personal experience with this, they can pretty much rush and you're screwed. Not so much screwed as in you're going to die, screwed as in you're going to lose a crap load of wood. Even if it's just Twisted Metals with only one merc shop, if you don't take the mercs from him, which can be tough, because his DH can start taking out your burrow, you're going to be in pretty bad shape, because you are going to have to turtle for a long time as he either gets an expansion or gets Chimes. Either way, you're screwed. In any event, you can see he's getting the typical choice of Farseer, and as you will see in a while, APM70 is getting Demon Hunter, which is really just a solid choice versus Orc. If they go the rare TC first, then you're more than set. If they go Blade Master, you can hold your own, just in the fact that he can't windwalk away so easily. And not all Orc players will actually, think of that. They will be like, oh, I'll just make sure I have 75 mana when it comes to it. Oh, wait, I got mana burnt. Down goes the Blade Master. So, DH is a good all-around choice. He also can tank, which is something the Warden and Keeper and Priestess can't do. And that they're durable. Or, sorry, he's durable because of his evasion. And, he can just kind of sit there in the front lines, amidst the huntresses and whatnot, which is really something that a bit of a weakness in Night Elf, in that a lot of their front line is weak to siege, and you see that with everyone and their brother getting raiders or catapults or wyvern, and the fact that their front line is weak to piercing as well. So, due to that unique nature of their front line, getting something that can tank really well, like the Demon Hunter, is very important. So there you go. With that. Anyway, as you saw, Grubby had scouted to his neighbor with a peon before actually going in there with his Farseer. And the reason for that is because you don't want to lose any time when you want to go, rush your opponent. Because normally you're going to have to go across the middle of the map, and then, as you reach the trees, Wolf will go off to each side, and, you'll do a 50-50 chance of going to one of the bases. And even if you guess wrong, you're on the river right next to the base, so it doesn't even matter. You don't lose that much time. However, if you go to the middle of the map and discover that your opponent's, behind you, you've just lost a lot of time. Whereas if you had scouted to your side and saw that it was there, you just go right there, and, you've saved that amount of time, and overall, it's good. So, always scout to your side on Turtle Rock. With a PM before you send your Spirit Wolf, just so that you can save time, because, that's why people get the Farseer so relentless and go right to their base. They want to save time and get as much done as they can. In any event, you can see he's just constantly going after that Wisp, as there's nothing in APM70's army that can actually take down the Farseer. Yes, it can damage it, it can, the DH can, remove some of his mana and whatnot, but he can't, like, kill the Farseer. There's no Warden, there's no Keep of the Grove, no Huntresses. There's nothing that's actually going to knock out and kill the Farseer. It'll just, he'll get hurt. It'll be bad, but, that's not really such a huge concern. In any event, he gets the Naga Sea Witch as a second choice, primarily because of the Demon Hunter first aspect that you can, since he's still level 1, not doing any creeping yet, it's easy to sort of knock him down, deal some damage to him, and, possibly force a TP or even just, even a hero kill, which is, always useful. So you can see right here, he's luring APM70 back into his base. Now he's going to try to hit the fool with the Frost Arrows. Now, he should have been running forward, hitting Frost, hitting Frost. Instead, he, is blowing it and doesn't kill the Demon Hunter. Good job, Grubby. So, mistake there. In any event, I was just thinking about the Naga, is not only is it just that little early advantage of being able to, knock out the DH a bit, but also the advantage of that even if you mana burn the fool, 10 mana later, she's got, her primary spell back. It doesn't matter that much. When you consider mana regen and the length of Frost in normal units, you're not gonna, there's not gonna be a large amount of time in between, between being slowed and not slowed. Even if you're at 0 mana after getting mana burned, by the time the Huntress or whatever is thawed again, you're usually in okay shape. Now you can see that he's going after the Beastmaster right now. Now one of the main things you have to do about Beastmasters is really you need to start denying that hero level. Because that's going to be the main thing that makes the Beastmaster a great hero, is that the summons get so strong later on. They just own completely. And so by being able to knock him out, which is really not that hard as he with his 3 strength and 1 armor nerf, he's early on very easy to kill. He's not that durable at all. I mean, his armor is quite low, and that does make him take almost full damage from grunts and whatnot. Due to the fact that grunts have this huge, base damage, that adds up really, really quickly. And you can start taking down the heroes, extremely, extremely fast. With the Frost bonus, not only does Frost Arrow slow, it actually adds damage. It's 5, 10, 15, depending on if it's level 1, 2, and 3. Now, the other thing that you do with the Naga is that she is a sort of a mid to early game push hero, in that you hit pretty much right after you get her. Maybe you get a tier 2 building up and you get 1 raid, you start researching the snare, but then right then you start hitting, because there's no counter to Frost Arrow's early game. Your hero or whatever is going to be slowed, and he's going to, take some damage and possibly die. And, when you have only a level 1 hero, there's, not much to be, there's not much that's going to keep your hero actually alive. He's going to, take those hits, he's probably going to go down. And so, by stopping by actually killing a full-fledged hero, you're gaining 50 XP on both your heroes, or burning a TP, which is, 350 gold down the drain, which means, 3 archers less for APM 70, which adds up pretty quickly. And, from there, from forcing the TP, or making him lose money, or even just getting rid of the hero in general, so that he's not fighting, you've now got this advantage of, I have 2 heroes, you have 1, our armies are roughly the same size, advantage Grubby, And so now that he's got his Raider and he's gotten Snare, he's salved up his units now, he's going to be making a move now on APM 70's base, specifically getting level 2 on the Farseer. And it's sort of icing on the cake. But now you can see right here, as I was saying before, the 4-unit combo that APM 70 has. A couple of Huntresses for front line, and then relying on his heroes for the rest of it, which is something I didn't go over before, but really, using heroes as front line is a great opportunity. You've got a strength hero and a hero with evasion and 5 armor. Neither of those guys are going to die very quickly. But you can just see that, the main thing you have to do is you have to speed scroll and get in the back. You have to. As you can see right here, Grubby is not so much focus firing as making sure he's hitting with 3 units per unit. What I mean by that is he's making sure he's got, 2 raiders and a grunt hitting one of the... hitting one of the dryads. Then, making sure his heroes and a couple other grunts are hitting an archer. Be right back, getting my dog. 1 sec. So anyways, you can see the rest of that battle. I didn't, but I know pretty much how the game goes by heart. I saw it 3-4 times. Anyway, you could just see that's the more advanced micro. I mean, anyone could focus fire with range. Anyone can, to an extent, pull back injured units, as you can see right here. Pulling it back while creeping extremely easily. You can see he's pulled 2 back right now. But I mean, that's the easy part. The hard part is having those 2 raiders and the grunt hitting one of the dryads while the rest of your army is hitting this archer and splitting it up. That's the advanced micro. That's how you play melee versus ranged. That's what you really need to be able to do, because that's the hard part. Being able to do that effectively is extremely vital, extremely important. And if you can do that, then you're not going to have so much of a trouble of melee versus ranged. As you can see, what APM-70 was relying on is having those 2-3 Huntresses, Quillbeast, Demon Hunter, and Beastmaster just soak up that frontline tanking, and there's nothing Grubby can do. It's the Tillerman, what can I do kind of thing. There's, he's cutting off any ability to get into the back line, and when you've got Fairy Fire and Archer Focus Fire going off on those grunts and raiders, they're going to die extremely quickly, and that's what APM-70 is relying on. But by Grubby, coming in there when the heroes are still low level, and, he's still got the powerful Naga Sea Witch in there, and he's speed scrolling into the back lines before there's this huge, unpassable front line, he's able to actually knock out and lower the unit count. As you can see, he forced a TP, he killed a hero, then killed another one, as, Deadman gets away with just his Demon Hunter. And so now you're going to see, again, there's another fight, and as you can see, he's quickly microing back his injured units, which is, the awesome micro that you can do in battle. And then you can see that, APM-70's doing as best he can with the melee guys in front, and letting his backline units deal damage from the back. But what happens here is that he's done so much damage already that he can afford to just attack move and just worry about defensive micro. And as you can see right there, all he did was pretty much attack move. He pulled back the injured grunt. He ensnared the hero, focus fired it, used hero spells. That's all he did in that battle. There was no special making sure you focus fire correctly that I saw. It was, you've got this huge advantage. You've got all these grunts with a roar scroll on them, of all things. It should be an easy battle to win. As you saw, it was, because he had done so much damage early on. 350 gold for a TP, 2 Beastmasters. That's another 380 gold. There's 500 gold right there, just from the heroes. Just from the heroes. Then you add in how much damage you got from the creep checking, because there was inadequate tanking. That Grubby got in the back lines, killed the drives and all that. Then you had the fact that Grubby had a roar scroll there. There's you might not be able to win the game early on. You'll win a battle. Doesn't mean you have to go and fight. Load up the second replay, by the way. I load that up and pause that at 15 seconds as well. You don't have to win the game right there. As Grubby killed the Beastmaster, and then Creepjack killed the Beastmaster. He kept killing that BM and causing damage onto APM-70 more damage than he received. But he didn't get overzealous and go and attack the base. You just have to realize that just go creep, rely on hero strength. You have higher heroes, you'll be okay for a little while. You don't have to worry about doing an attack right now. You'll be okay, essentially. And so that's just what he did. He just went and creepjacked, went and creeped, gathered up his forces, made sure he was healed up and had the hero level. And then when it was really time to fight, just making sure you gather yourself before you fight is another main thing, is making sure that you're get this at 15 second mark, 1 speed, Grubby's point of view, and you, oh yes, you, bat, flag of war on. Just, play calmly. Now, that's something that sort of is a weakness to me, in that I can never sort of have the right pacing. Like, it seems that I'm doing something too slowly or doing something too quickly, and maybe I'm just not comfortable with it or something. But I've not been able to really say, okay, I've got this, calmly go and creep this spot. Okay, now it's the right time to go. I don't really understand in my game when to do that. But when you see replay, you're like, okay, he got this level, it's time to go. He's gonna go do this creep checking, or he just did this. Okay, you can analyze that, but I've not really been able to see any key moments within my game. But you're going to see a lot more of this in this one. This one, you'll see a lot of what I've been saying about before, with critical levels, attacking when you have an expansion, all that fun stuff. So we're gonna go and I'm actually gonna talk for a little. Actually, no, let's unpause it and I'll talk about a little bit more aftermath. So let's unpause in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unpause. So Grubby just relied on winning the battles that he won, then calming down, doing something important like creeping, making sure his army's healed up. Then when the salves are worn off, he says, "Okay, I know I have a better army than him. I know I'm funnier than that fan." If any of you watch the show, I know I have a better army than APM-70, and goes and provokes a fight by hitting his base. And then one of the main things you realize is that he didn't rush in there. He went and attacked, and he killed 1 or 2 buildings. Then he saw Dead Man's army coming in, so he organized his army, creeped himself up, and said, "Okay, here we go." Summons the wolves, attack moves in, gets ready for the defensive micro. And so there's that. Now, as you can see, he's doing what I was talking about before with the pain I experienced before against the merc camps, is he's getting the fast racks, because otherwise you're going to be in a somewhat bad shape. Now, you notice that he also doesn't rush the barracks. It's not a big deal of quickly get it up as fast as you can and go rush. It's more of, I'm going to need it eventually. I'm going to need it before I attack. So I'm just going to make sure that I get the building. And so, he's not getting it right after he starts his first burrow. He's not going to, put it on his second peon coming out. Which is when you'd build it if you wanted it really fast. He's doing it, right after he's got 5 on gold, and then says, "Okay, it's time to build it, I'm just making sure I don't lose any gold income. My grunts will still come out at a decent rate, It's time to go, essentially." So he's just doing that. Safe, non-tech build, really. No weaknesses really to this build, just, slightly slower tech, big deal. It's all good. Anyway, we're going to see another game with the same sort of unit choice / hero matchup. Well, not exactly the same hero matchup, but you're just going to see how it goes anyway. You can see APM-70 scouting Grubby, etc., whatever. In this game, you can see that there's no really close by spawn that's easy to peon scout, so he's going to send his wolves out, whatever. Nonchalantly just kind of finding where your opponent is, whatever. So you can see he's sending Grunt around to chase wisps around, whatever. Keeping his Farseer away from the Demon Hunter, because mana is a lot harder to recharge than the Demon Hunter's health, big deal. Anyway, he's just hitting the Demon Hunter a little bit with wolves, eating up the Shadow Priest mana. Probably not on purpose, but, 20 free experience for APM-70. That's why he gets a Shadow Priest, is because that way his Demon Hunter can duel the Farseer. You say, "Alright, well, I dispelled your wolf, and now I'm gonna go kick your ass," pretty much. So, he's just doing that. And Grubby's trying to force some detonates, though you don't kill the wolf to get the XP for it. Kill the wisp, get the XP for it. He's still, making him lose 60 gold. Can't hurt. Anyway, you can see, gets mana burned, try to kill the wisp some more, and, detonate. So it's already 2 wisps gone so far. So, not so bad for Grubby, I would say. But there's still that priest lurking around, so he's not going to try to duel that DH with his grunt or anything. He's going to kind of run away. What Grubby really wants to do, though, is to start grunt creeping. So you can see he's going to run away from the Demon Hunter, lure him away from the creep camp. You notice he makes that conscious decision to get the DH away from his creeping force. Starts gaining EXP. Wolves taking as usual. You don't want to take damage in your grunts when you can help it, because you never know when that 200 damage that you could have taken might mean the grunt's going to die to that chasing DH with the Naga, following it. You never know, so you want to be safe when you can. In any event, Grubby hasn't really checked into APM-70's base yet, so he's going to do that right now while he's doing that standard grunt creeping. Again, trying to let the wolf tank a little bit. You can see he moves his force around a little bit. Gets that wolf to take a purge, which is kind of unfortunate, but he resummons up and he's trying to see what APM-70 is going for. He sees there's an Agent of War out. He doesn't see any kind of Hunter Saw. Oh, there it is. So, and he sees a Hunter, so he goes, okay, the guy's making Hunters, but he also got it really fast here, too. He got it faster than Grubby did. Grubby did a pretty quick tech build in general. So he knows that his opponent really teched fast, and that he's going to be relying on a second hero very soon. Also seeing that the altar was not working, knows that he's going a neutral hero. Or at least assumes it. for the fact that he's quickly building a Moonal right now, he may have made a mistake and just forgotten to build the Moonal for his hero. In general, he figures APM70 is probably going a neutral hero, and he's going to get some tier 2 buildings really soon. So it's going to be the same sort of 4-unit mix of, you know, Talons, Dryads, Archers, Hunts. He's already got the Archers and Hunts. He's got tier 2 for the Talons and Dryads. You know, it's on. So he's getting the Tauren Chieftain. Now, I've never found that to be the best choice against a Demon Hunter, unless you sort of do a different kind of playstyle. Now, you saw in Game 1 that Grubby did an aggressive playstyle, picking up the Naga, getting Raiders, and, you know, going for hero kill, hero kill, hero kill, hero kill, and then going and fighting as soon as he got, you know, going and creep checking and fighting, and just continually picking fights, using speed rolls, and, you know, whittling his army down, and then eventually having the climactic battle at the end. You know, Grubby played, you know, smart with that choice. Now Grubby's mixing it up, probably assuming that APM70 is going to adapt to that, and instead going for a sort of a more late-game oriented build. As the map's bigger and he's got mercs, he's not going to be able to actually push him early on. That's, you know, the thing about Twisted Meadows is you better be able to power creep. That's a lot of why, what am I saying? That's a lot of why the Beastmaster was just so powerful in the early versions, because, you know, you couldn't rush Nidolf because they had the mercs, and you played late game, they had the Beastmaster. There was nothing you could do. You know, there was no real good advantage points all game. But instead, you know, with you know, slight BM nerf and you know, that he's not going Beastmaster first, the late game is going to be a little bit weaker in general for APM70. Also, another thing to realize about the late game is that, you know, once your TC is like level 5, you know, even being able to let off one shockwave and then getting mana burned is still a lot of damage. I mean, obviously, you know, it's every GH has dreamed of, you know, go rape all the mana from the Tauren Chieftain, as, you know, it's pretty easy to do, but what am I saying? But just having enough mana to at least let off one good shockwave is actually enough to make the TC worth it, because then he's got an Endurance Orb, and he's also a big tank. As you can see, the guy's got 6 freaking armor. He's not dying anytime soon. He's really not. So, you know, there's that. So right now, Grubby's sort of tactic choice is make sure you're always carrying salves, which he's doing right now. He's picking up some more salves. Poof, there's the salve, the clarity. You know, make sure your army's in good shape so you can continue to power creep, but also to make sure that you have the hero strength of Shockwave and Chain Lightning, because that's really the only way you're going to be able to get rid of dots easily. With Dryads and Huntresses and Archers in the mix, your Raiders, you can't rely on your Raiders to get rid of dots, because they really aren't going to own them. You're going to be relying on, like, 200 AoE, you know, damage Shockwave, and, you know, 180 damage Chain Lightning, and Spirit Wolves to eat up more, you know, Focus Fire and whatnot. As you can see, what I've been sort of actively asking for is to always get the agility and the armor on your strength heroes, because armor equals percentage effective hit points. It'll increase your base hit points by X%. Right? If you have a 5 hit point unit, no matter how much armor you have, you're not going to be that durable. If you have 1,000 hit points, every armor point is pretty big. When you consider +4 Ring of Ownage, it's really big, you know? And that TC just will become extremely beastly and incredibly difficult to kill. And when you mix Vamp Aura with Endurance and crap, it just gets rather insane. So, what Grubby's doing now is he sees his expansion is now at the critical point where you really want it to go up. You've spent a lot of time and money getting that thing that far. You better, you know, get that mofo up and not allow it to be cancelled right now. Also, he's getting level 3 Tauren Chieftain, or just got level 3 Tauren Chieftain, I guess. Also, he just picked up Protection Scroll, Scroll of Healing. So he's moving he's just making a move right towards APM70's base. He's also muling off 4 peons to his expansion, so that when it comes up, it's working at full force almost instantly. So now you see he's going right for APM70's buildings, seeing that yes, he's indeed getting the lore on the wind. As I said, getting the Archer dot Talon Dryad, and he's, you know, knocking out Wisp very easily, going after the Ancient of Wonders, I guess denying items, whatnot.
Then you can see that he's already out of mana and has summoned TP because there's this huge Merc army. You know, no thanks. You know, he killed 2 tech buildings. You include the wisps in there, the ones that he killed and the ones that were used in building the buildings. Not a bad trade for Grubby. He made his opponent get out of creeping pattern. He really let his opponent see what his army was. Because as you noticed, or you might have noticed when he crept the bottom right spot, there was a wisp right there that saw the Torn Chieftain, the Farseer, the Grunts, the Raiders. APM70 knew what, and you, oh yes, you, had. But Grubby really didn't, you know. He sent one wolf out when he was creeping the Goblin Laboratory on the left-hand side. He sent one wolf out to APM70's expansion, saw that there wasn't one. He used a reveal on the expansion down at 3 o'clock. Saw there wasn't an expo there. He's like, alright, the only thing I've left to see is what his main army's made up of. And what he saw was what he figured, that same 4-unit mix. And the DH and Beastmaster. So, now, you know, Grubby knows what his opponent's army is made of, and he sees that there's really not something he wants to fight again, really. He wants to make sure, really he just wants, period, to have the hero levels to be able to fight that. Because that's really the best way he's going to be able to get through this, is having, you know, level 2 endurance, you know, the 2 level 2 Farseer spells, you know, getting his heroes to 4 and 5, pretty much. You know, he really needs some strong AoE damage because, you know, with a scroll protection on Huntresses and, you know, with Fairy Fire and Slow Poison, his damage potential, his unit damage potential compared to that of his opponent is really pretty mediocre. Again, he gets the +2 agility, and now he has Uber Armor Torn Chieftain, so he's got a great tank, but then again, he's also amidst a whole bunch of Grunts and Raiders, so it's not like TSC's a big target of opportunity. He's not, you know, sticking out like a sore thumb. But, you know, Grubby realizes that he needs hero levels. That's pretty much what it is. He's getting the Kodo with good game and etc. Because now that he's got, you know, endurance level 2 and all these units, getting in 10% damage is pretty high. You can see, not a great shock overall, but, you know, right now the Dryas aren't attacking, they're just abolishing, which is pretty cool. But you're going to see right here, he speed scrolls into the back, and he's going to go after him. And I'm holding the other 2 bracket keys, just seeing, you know, left bracket versus right bracket, seeing, you know, where the units are in position. And he's really just in great spots. And that he speeds right to the back line. He's just taking most of it he's just attack moving and pulling back injured units, then, you know, bringing the Raiders back for ensnare, and then pulling them back again, really. You know, with that Vamp and Endurance and the Kodo, and, you know, the 2 armor upgrades, plus the Devotion, you know, he's canceling out that Fairy Fire, the Fairy Fire buff. And, you know, he's essentially countering what his opponent is using against him, you know. He's got 2 armor upgrades for 4 armor, plus the Devotion Ore for another 1 armor. And so, his Grunts are back to base armor stats, you know. They're not in bad shape anymore. You know, they're decent. You also got that Kodo that ate the dot, which is pretty cool. You know, that's another reason why Kodos are a little bit underrated, in that not only is the ore really, really, really good, but that really, Kodos not always going to be a target of opportunity. I mean, the guys do have 1,000 hit points, and yeah, he's making a lot of Archers and Dryads, but still, it's 1,000 hit points. It's not bad. It's damage that your Grunts aren't taking. And it's not that hard to run back a Kodo. I mean, he is ranged, and you do have speed scrolls. You should be okay.
Work complete.
So, you know, he's like, alright. He's just essentially, you know, getting the right unit mix. Now, he gets the Catapult because, you know, the dots aren't going to be easy to kill. I mean, eventually, I guess APM70 is going to wisen up and get the right units or something along those lines. But in general, oh my god, return the gold, you noob. There you go. Good job. Okay, select them and press E, you newbie. Anyway, rather than waste a TP, which is really, well, he also didn't have one. But, you know, aside from that, bringing the TP, which is also, bringing a would-be TP, I guess is the right phrase. But in any event, using a TP, which is really what APM70 wanted, because that would make him waste money, as APM70 has an expansion too, as you can see in the top left corner, sending Wolf Scouts is go-to. He also sends a Demolisher just to go take out the Tree of Life. Well, his army does something more important, like chase away APM70's army. In any event, that's a really weird thing with that Demolisher, but whatever. If it works, it works. It's just pretty funny. We'll see how that goes in later days. Alright, so you can see that he's never going to fight without that dual scroll ownage. You can see with level 2 Shockwave in there, you can see just how quickly those hunts just lost hit points. They're all dead, pretty much. Pops a protection scroll, and it's on. You know? Shockwave again, almost goes that dot, and it's, you know, it's ownage time. As you can see, that Tree of Life up there is about to die, which is really funny, I think. But you can see, you know, when you've won a battle, as long as you get the positioning right, you'll be okay for the next one. And the Tree of Life is almost going to go down. It's so funny. Oh my god. But, you know, kill the Beastmaster. Almost. Come on, you can do it. Really, just the complexity of this matchup is the timing. Most important of all is the timing. You need to hit at the right time, and you'll be okay. That's exactly what you need to do. I mean, there's only so much micro you can do when you're fairy fired and being slowed by slow poison. And, you know, healing scroll or speed scrolls are limited in general. You know, you only have, you know, so many. As you can see, Grubby used 2 in the bottom right. Yes, smart. Or, you know, that's smart to do. That's really something that's very, very important. Is speed scrolling into the back line. Speed scrolling so that your army gets there, except they're not owned by slow poison. Just up to the front lines even. Then speed scrolling so that you can actually get back there and start hitting the dots and drives and archers, because those guys are not that durable. And they will start falling when you add in just a little bit of AoE like Shockwave and Chain Lightning. And if you've got some protection and healing scrolls, they'll be really in good shape. So, scroll protection is very vital in general. Like, just because, especially versus Elf, because if they go dries, if nothing else, they're going to waste time casting Abolish, which does add up, because, you know, since they have that poison damage, they'll slow you down, which will lower your attack damage and your move speed, and it'll also deal damage to you. Making the dries sit there forever, you know, abolishing, it saves you some damage. It saves you quite a bit of damage. It's not going to heal as much, you know, indirectly healing as much as, say, Healing Scroll. It also costs less than Healing Scroll, and for the units that don't have, you know, the protection abolished off of them, they're taking less damage from the actual army, you know, and the points that don't get abolished, you know, after the dries run out of mana, then again, those guys are taking less damage, and that those extra hit points really add up quite a lot. So, you know, always use those. They're great items. Just make sure you only use them once you've actually started upgrading, because it's cheaper to actually get an armor upgrade than to buy a protection scroll. So, always think of that. In other news, you just see Grubby, you know, one of the things I sort of realized, or hypothesized, I guess, I don't know if this is perfectly true or not, but I think so, is that versus Undead, also versus Night Elf, you know, you have that mid-game advantage right when you start pulling out Raiders. Because versus Night Elf, unless you do a straight tech, they're not going to have a lot of, you know, dots and dryads. That's right when you can hit. And so they're not going to come after you, usually, until they actually have the dots and dryads out. And so that's your, one of the things is that's your opportunity to tower them, because they're not going to have their Dream Army yet. You know, they're getting their lores and wins up now. They're not going to have any units, aside from their Tier 1. And if you've got Tier 2 units plus a Naga Sea Witch, you're going to be pretty good in just towering him, and as he comes in and out, slowed by the Naga Sea Witch, ensnared by Raiders, you can start picking up units. Which is something you can see in Grubby vs. Zeus on Turtle Rock. Yeah, that was in my article. Is, you know, he pushes at the right time, to an extent, you know, right around the Tier 2 mark with the Raiders, and he'll start with a Nagas with a Shadowhunter. You can just see that, you know, he towers, and every time Zeus comes to try to knock them out, he ensnares them, and he's going to get a free kill almost every time. Since towers cost less than an archer, it's not a bad trade. Even if you lose the tower, which you generally won't, but even if you do, it's not bad. You know, he loses more gold, you gain more EXP. I'd be happy. The wood's a small price to pay. You can always make another peon, big deal. In any event, as for like the Grubby tactic, or what Grubby did, I guess, as expanding in the mid game, is that, you know, he knew that he had that mid game advantage, and seeing that there were all those mercs, he realized, I'm not going to mess with that. You know, there's no way I'm going to come after his army and try to knock him out. Also, the fact that he went TC versus DH, a level 1 TC versus, level 1 or 2 DH, you're not going to get anything out of that. You'll get 1 65 damage shockwave, and you could be out of mana. Who cares, That's not even scroll of healing worthy. Getting your TC up to 4, when you've got level 2 endurance, which is a big deal. Though it doesn't seem like it is pretty good. And getting level 2 shockwave, in that even if you mana burns you once, you've got double the damage of that shockwave. And now it starts to matter a little bit more, And then especially when you add in, the effect of, speed scrolling into the back so that, all his half hit point units are now exposed to your grunts and raiders, and adding in chain lightning and all that fun stuff, you're really in a lot better shape. And, with 135 damage shockwave, you're just a lot better off. So he decided to say, I'm probably not gonna get hit mid-game, so I'm just gonna go creep till I get my level 3, buy my dual scrolls, and then as my expo's about to go up, I'm just gonna see if I can provoke a fight. I just got my 50 food army, I just bought the dual scrolls, I just got level 3 on both my heroes. Looks like a good time to fight for me, And so he went in there and he killed like 3-4 wisps, killed 2 buildings, then saw he murked a lot. That's, that army's a little too big for me. Let's just TP out, because the thing is, if you don't TP out, Dread's going to pick off your units. He already had units, up in there fighting Huntresses. He's like, no thanks. And just TP's out because, and the units that he killed pays for itself. And with the EXP gain from 2 buildings and 2-3 wisps, I know one of them detonated, but, the ones that he killed, it's a good 100 EXP gain. Nothing to frown about. When you consider that the gold advantage, just kind of was a wash. 100 EXP, make him stop creeping. Not bad. He also got a view of his opponent's army, which is sometimes harder to do, to see his army when you have to find him creeping essentially to see his army. So the Mega Game Expo is a bit of a surprise kind of thing. Is that people don't usually expect it so much. Something I do when I mass Wyvern is that I expo around 40 food, and then go right into low upkeep. Massing Wyvern. That's usually about the time they actually attack me, is right when I put the expo up. So it's a bit of a tough time, but if I can sit behind burrows and use my heroes well, I'll be okay. So that's something to think about. Just in general, making use of your advantages, making use of your critical levels and whatnot is just what you have to do, and just keep working with it till you really get the right timing down. Always think about critical levels. Always think about when you expand. Always think about when you get a certain unit. Always think about when you get a certain upgrade. Now think about, is that going to be enough to sway the battle in my favor? Is going from 65 damage to 135, is that going to sway the battle in my favor? Is level 2 endurance going to sway the battle in my favor? Is Ensnare now going to sway the battle in my favor? Is a Chimera or a Frostworm or a Griffin going to sway the battle in my favor? Or am I going to wait till I have enough of those units that it's a complete surprise? I mean, if you see one Griffin, okay, TP out, start making bats. Or Wyvern, or whatever. If you fight and he's got like 7 Griffins, your army's dead by the time you TP, and there's no way you're going to be able to make enough a counter in time. So you have to kind of balance the two. You have to balance, surprise big army, which isn't going to happen against great players, but if you're playing, newbies, like, most people under 20 are, not going to be that smart and not good at scouting what you have. You'll be able to, surprise him with a fleet of Frostworms or something, and pull out a pretty easy win as he's gonna start whining about Frostworms or whatever they are. So that's something to think about. So you can go either way with it. Generally, pushing when you have an advantage is probably the best idea, but whatever. Always remember that when you attack, do carry the dual scrolls, carry an invulnerability potion, or at least a TP on your heroes. Make sure your secondary hero, your melee hero specifically, has some kind of a potion, so you don't have to TP just because he's getting hurt. Because people can always do that if they really just need you to TP, as they don't have enough of an army. They can always just focus your melee hero or whoever has a TP and make you TP out to save him, which is something you should always be prepared to counter. Yeah, you have to spend another 150 gold before you attack, but the thing is, the thing comes instantly. Units don't. You take 5 seconds so that the gold comes in for your invulnerability potion. Those 5 seconds not going to make another dot come out for your opponent. It's okay. You can go ahead and take the time to do it. Now, I wouldn't say go from 0 gold to wait for 350 for a TP. No, that's dumb. But, within reason, you can wait 5 seconds for an item to come in. That's okay. So, this will be the end of this commentary. I'll try to end it on the 40-minute mark. D-Boss is, as always, a complete newbie. Really just never listen to the guy's advice. If he makes a description, Anytime you go for a replay and you look at the description, look to see if it's submitted or description by DBoss and flame him. Or sorry, just send him a PM.